They called me the ship of gold. I carried more than treasure. I carried dreams. Inside my hull were thousands of gold coins, bars of gold, and fortunes built during California's great gold rush. Families trusted me. Bankers depended on me. An entire nation waited for my arrival. But the sea doesn't care how much your cargo is worth. It doesn't bargain. It doesn't show mercy. On one storm-filled night I disappeared beneath this Atlantic Ocean. Along with me went mountains of gold, hundreds of lives and hopes that would never reach the shore. For more than a century I slept in complete darkness, until one day the ocean finally gave me back.
Welcome back to the Museum of Money. Today we stand before one of history's most tragic treasures. This is the SS Central America, a steamship trusted to carry California's gold across the Atlantic. But this wasn't just a maritime disaster. When this ship disappeared, it took with it millions in gold, hundreds of lives, and helped deepen one of America's first great financial crises. Let's begin its final voyage.
I still remember the morning I left San Francisco. The docks were alive. Workers carried heavy wooden chests filled with freshly mined gold. Every crate represented years of hard work. Every coin carried someone's dream. Miners stood silently watching me depart. Some were returning home wealthy at last. Others stayed behind, still chasing the next great discovery. Inside my cabins, passengers laughed, shared stories, and imagined the lives waiting for them. On the East Coast, none of us could see the storm already waiting beyond the horizon. At first, it was only the wind. The waves grew a little higher, the sky a little darker. No one seemed worried. Storms were part of every voyage, but I could feel the ocean changing. Each wave struck harder than the one before. My wooden decks began to tremble. The engines worked without rest. Captain William Herndon stood firmly on my bridge. His eyes never left the horizon. He had crossed dangerous seas before, but this storm was different. It wasn't passing by. It was coming straight for us, and there was nowhere left to run. The storm showed no mercy. Towering waves crashed across my decks. Seawater poured into my engine room. One engine fell silent, then another. For the first time I could no longer fight the ocean. I drifted helpless through the raging sea. Yet above me Captain William Herndon never surrendered. His voice remained calm. Women and children were placed into the rescue boats. Crew members worked through exhaustion, knowing there might not be enough time. I heard fear. I heard prayers. But louder than both was courage. Because even as I began to sink, the people on my decks chose to save one another. The ocean had won. My decks slipped beneath the waves. The cries grew quieter. One by one the rescue boats disappeared into the darkness. Captain William Herndon never left me. He stood until the very end. Not because he had nowhere to go, but because he refused to abandon those still in his care. Then I took one final breath. My bow tilted downward. The sea closed above me. The gold, the letters, the dreams, and hundreds of lives followed me into the silence. For 130 years no human eyes would see me again.
The loss of the SS Central America was more than a maritime tragedy. Hidden inside her cargo was freshly mined California gold destined for banks, businesses, and investors across the eastern United States. When that gold never arrived, confidence began to crack. Banks, already under pressure, faced growing uncertainty. Credit tightened. Investments slowed. Fear spread faster than facts. The sinking of one ship did not cause the panic of 1857 by itself. But it became one of the events that deepened an already fragile financial system. Sometimes history changes not with a single decision, but with one storm at exactly the wrong moment. For more than a century the SS Central America rested in complete darkness. Then in 1988 explorers found her nearly 2 kilometers beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Gold bars, coins, and forgotten artifacts returned to the surface. But the greatest treasure was never the gold itself. It was the story. A story that reminds us how confidence can shape economies, how one voyage can influence history, and how wealth is only as valuable as the trust behind it. Here inside the Museum of Money, every object has a voice. Every coin has a memory. And every fortune has a price. I'll see you in our next journey through the history of money.